Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. I am Imefonokun. The organized labor has suspended the nationwide strike for 5 days to give room for uninterrupted meetings with the tripartite committee on the new national minimum wage. This comes after a successful meeting between labor leaders and secretary to the government of the Federation, George Akume, and other government officials in the early hours of Tuesday. With this development, every government and private offices are expected to reopen and function as usual. Meanwhile, the SGF has disclosed that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was committed to a new minimum wage higher than 60,000 naira. However, the tripartite committee has resolved to meet every day for the next 1 week with a view to arriving at an agreeable national minimum wage. This is a call on landlords and creditors to always take it easy while requesting for their fees. A story that created our newsroom this Tuesday says a landlord, Benjamin Abe, has reportedly died after he collapsed during an argument with his tenant over unpaid rent. The public relations officer, Ogun State Police Command, SB, Omolola Odutola, in a statement this Tuesday in Abeokuta, said that the incident occurred on Sunday at Arikbabu village in Sakamo local government area of Ogun State. During the argument, we gathered that Ape collapsed and was rushed to NNPC Hospital, Mosimi, but was later confirmed dead by the doctor on duty. National anthems are more than just melodies and lyrics. They symbolize the history, culture, and values of a nation. In recent years, several countries have taken the bold step of revising their anthems to better reflect contemporary values and inclusivity. On Wednesday, May 29, the old anthem of Nigeria was reinstated as the official national anthem of the country. In that light, here is a rundown of 5 countries around the world that have recently altered their national anthems.
Australia's national anthem, Advance Australia Fair, underwent a significant change on January 1, 2021. The second line of the anthem was altered from "For we are young and free" to "For we are one and free." This change aimed to acknowledge the long history of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, recognizing that Australia's history spans tens of thousands of years, far preceding European settlement. This small yet significant modification reflects Australia's commitment to unity and reconciliation with its indigenous population. Also, in 2012, Austria modified its national anthem, Land der Berge, Land am Strom, that is, land of mountains, land by the river, to promote gender inclusivity. The original lyrics, which exclusively referenced great sons, were changed to great daughters and sons. This alteration aimed to ensure that the anthem represents all Austrians, regardless of gender, fostering a sense of equality and inclusiveness in the national narrative. And also in Canada. Canada made a notable change to its national anthem, O Canada, in 2018. The line, "In all thy sons command," was changed to "In all of us command." This modification was part of an ongoing effort to make the anthem more inclusive and reflective of all Canadians, regardless of gender. The move was widely seen as a positive step towards gender neutrality and inclusivity, aligning with contemporary Canadian values. And in South Africa, South Africa's national anthem is unique, combining excerpts from several different languages and songs, including the hymn Nkosi Sikelel Afrika and the former anthem Die Stem van Suid-Afrika. In recent years, minor changes have been made to the anthem to ensure proper pronunciation and inclusivity of all languages represented. These revisions reflect South Africa's diverse cultural landscapes and its commitment to honoring the linguistic heritage of all its people. In New Zealand in 1977, the government announced in a supplement to the New Zealand Gazette issue of 17 November that the national anthems of the New Zealand would be the traditional anthem, God Save the Queen, and the poem, God Defend New Zealand. From this point on, the two anthems have had equal status. Following the accession of King Charles III to the throne in September 2022, the words of the first anthem changed to God Save the King. So, from Clearview's news desk, we heartily sing Nigeria we hail thee.
Some female journalists have identified sexual harassment, insecurity, discrimination, name-calling, such as prostitute, threats by family members, lack of prospects like their male colleagues, and unfriendly maternity conditions as some of the challenges mitigating against the realization of their full potentials. Clearview News correspondent met with this female journalist in Abuja and now brings us details. Findings have shown that Nigerian female journalists experience different types of gender unsavory, including discrimination in news gathering, production, and sexual harassment. Some female journalists who spoke with Clearview News crew, while narrating some of the challenges they experience in the field, said female journalists are clustered in the soft beat than their male counterparts.
When it comes to getting the right people to interview, you discover that some of them might be asking for your own body. Especially when you talk about politicians and the well-to-do in the society, they will want to take something from you first before giving you what you request from them. So it's come as a challenge to me that sometimes I really look at it that, is it really meant for the ladies? Because we expose ourselves, and when it comes to marriage, thank God I'm married, when it comes to marriage, you discover that it's really causing delay in our parts, because so many suitors that will come your way will look at you as a prostitute because of the kind of people you are exposed to, the kind of people you meet in the society, you are connected to this, to that, because of the beats you covered. So at the end of it, when your right suitor will now come to you and somebody will now say, this guy, this lady, I saw her there, it's possible this guy is dating her and all those stuff. So it might change the mindset of your soon-to-be suitor.
That I'm not married, it doesn't mean because I'm a journalist. No, it just means that my time has not yet come. It has nothing to do with the kind of job I do. And for them to say that maybe because you're practicing journalism, you are more exposed. I think for me, I look at it from the point of view that those men are intimidated.
So issue of security to some extent is one area that is a challenge for women journalists. Yeah, and we have also newsroom segregation. They'll tell you that only special stories like women and children, they'll tell you that those are the kind of stories that women should do. In the field, we also meet harassment.
When I wasn't married, it was still the same thing. I leave my house as early as 6, and I don't return till 9, 10 then. I still balance everything. But when you now kind of hear people say certain things, because she's not married, that's why you see her doing certain things outside with some men or whatever. Even the married ones at times they do it.
The woman, you go for 1 week, they say, you look at the married woman, she left because she's a which kind of assignment, she's the only one doing it. But for a man, nobody hears that. Another challenge is that when you get to a place, they first of all assess you. They assess you to know if it is somebody that maybe they can tell you, okay, we are meeting somewhere, or maybe giving you an appointment of the camera to meet somewhere. This sexual abuse too and harassment is very, very common.
Marriage and motherhood are the dominant factors creating class ceilings for women journalists working in the Nigerian news media. So, how can there be a balance in all of this? Experts say gender-based discrimination, sexual harassment, and sexism are rife in Nigerian news companies, and many organizations do not have policies and frameworks to address them. The few who handle sexual harassment complaints do so unofficially and off the records. Imefon Okun reporting for Clever News. The World Football Governing Body, FIFA, has ruled that the top scorer at the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations, Emilio Nsue, was never eligible to represent Equatorial Guinea throughout his entire 11-year international career, he stated in a detailed verdict on Monday. Meanwhile, FIFA also cancelled 2 wins that Equatorial Guinea recorded in qualifying games for the 2026 World Cup in November. Nsue scored in a 2-1-0 victories over Namibia and Liberia. However, FIFA has now said the former Spain under-21 international should not have played any of those matches and is now banned by FIFA for 6 months from national team games. The 34-year played 26 competitive games for Spain teams from under-16 to under-21 levels across 6 years through 2011. Former Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Environment and National Coordinator of Digital Peers International, Ibukun Odushote, has warned of the consequences of poor waste management, particularly plastic waste disposal. Speaking during a donation of receptacles to Government Secondary School Kwarimpa and Government Girls Secondary School Duse Alaji in Abuja, Ibukun emphasized the global nature of the problem requiring collective attention. Clavius Florence Joshua, who was there, brings details of the event.
As the rainy season commences, Ibukun Odushote, former Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Environment and National Coordinator of Digital Peers International, has again stressed the need to take awareness campaign about responsible plastic waste disposal serious to prevent water canal blockages and flooding. She also highlighted the economic value in the proper collection of plastic waste, urging citizens to recognize its potential.
Combining environment with agriculture, with ecological issues, they are all within the same cycle. So I know, I've experienced the calamities that you could have as a result of bad management of waste. We have to educate our young people. Over the years, my experience had been that if you want to push anything, push with children and push with women. Digital Peers International emphasizes on women and children, first and foremost, and then young people. So in this particular one, we concentrated in this project of innovative solutions to plastic waste management. We worked with youth, and then working with youth, we also worked with schools. And we think that the numbers in the schools will give us mileage. And that's why we decided that put receptacles in secondary schools, then give them talks on pollution, on waste management, so that they don't just throw things out.
Teachers and students at the schools visited expressed gratitude for the gesture and pledged to put the receptacles to effective use as they join the fight against improper plastic waste disposal.
A lot has been said concerning the use of plastic bottles. I believe that very soon the people in charge will find solution to it, but while it's still being marketed, we will ensure that we dispose of these bottles properly.
My children called it a cage, and we are so happy, and we're going to trap the bottles in the cage, which is surely a symbol to teach them another way of a better living, because I see this thing as a dual success. One, the environment will be clean and free from waste. And secondly, it's a way of earning.
Though it's a culture in our schools, because we already have environmental clubs, but the only difference is the recycling receptacle, that our schools not only keeping our environments clean, it's also a source of generating revenue in our schools.
And I'm very happy that we have been donated with this because it's helping the environment in so many ways. Because we already know that these plastics are not biodegradable, and having or being able to recycle them is very helpful and healthy to the environment. And they can reuse what we have recycled to make other materials. I know we all know that, but I really appreciate their donation. Thank you.
Things we've been facing in our school is disposal of waste. Many students do not know how to dispose their waste properly, and then even the small gutters and canals here will be blocked. But with this receptacle and with this sensitization, they now know the right way to dispose their waste, and we promise that we will use it very well for the development of the school and society at large.
Odushote's warning and donation of receptacles to secondary schools in Abuja highlights the urgent need for proper waste management, particularly the non-biodegradables like plastic waste, to prevent environmental calamities like flooding. Organizers say the initiative is born out of the desire to educate and empower students to take action and make a positive impact on their communities. By recognizing the value of plastic waste and adopting responsible disposal practice, it is expected that everyone work together towards a cleaner, safer, and more sustainable future. Florence Joshua reporting for Clever News Desk.
Wonders, they say, shall never end. This is the story of Alexandra Lamy, who lives with her daughter, Melusine Means, in welfare housing in eastern Paris, far away France. The peaceful atmosphere in their family was disrupted when Katia falls in love with Saki Lopez, a Spanish co-worker in a cosmetic factory. A baby was born almost immediately after Lopez moves in. The child, who they name Otto Parrot, becomes a source of anxiety and unwelcome surprise as he is noisy and demanding. To make matters worse, Ricky's shoulder blades begin growing wings. The baby also starts to fly. It becomes a public curiosity, further throwing the family into disarray and fear for Ricky's safety. Katia and Paco put a rope on Ricky so he won't fly away. They let go of Ricky as Katia is holding the rope, and everyone is surprised to see Ricky flying. But when Katia accidentally let go the rope, Ricky flies away, and though they chase after him, he flies away. Katia and Paco think Ricky is dead. Katia is despondent and about to commit suicide when she hears Ricky's voice and his flapping wings. As he returns, alas, Ricky is 2009 France fantasy film directed by Francis Schoen about a human baby who develops a set of functional wings and how the parent cope with the child's abnormality.